Welcome back to the Sports Dungeon. I'm your host, Lauren Tepper, and this is our prediction show with Brandon Cohen. We just went over the 5A West girls where we thought that it was going to be kind of a toss-up between Greenwood, Vilonia, and Siloam Springs to win probably that title. Unlike in the smaller classifications, in the 5A and above, you must finish in the top 4 to qualify for the state. Mm-hmm. So Goblin girls are going to be fighting to try to make it there, and I think that they may or may not do it. I think it'll be interesting. We'll see how well, if they get on a roll and can shoot well and play defensively, they may get in there. If not, they may.
It was only 2 years ago that they started out 4-0 in conference, and that's totally possible again.
That's right. Well, let's move to the boys' side. I think the boys' team is going to be a little bit of an injection. They are very, very guard-oriented and very, very strong at the guard play, led by, obviously, Blake McNair, who's coming over from the Alpena transfer from a year ago, who got his feet wet in the 5A West, and now this year should – be able to lead the way and play on the point and have some good times.
I think you're right. I think there are just so many weapons on this team, and you talked about the guard play, but there's also obviously paint play with John Colliver and Jackson Dozier coming in this year is going to add another wrinkle to that element. I mean, there's just not many weak spots on this team this year.
No, and that they're a good, sound, quality basketball team. I think with Colliver on the inside, it's going to show his athleticism to give them some true dominant play. The problem that I see, though, is if they get into foul trouble, that they may run into some issues, because other than going with Dozier and with John Colliver, after that, size is becoming a problem.
Yeah, the next one to step up there would be Jackson Dorman, who had a very good football season this year, and he's a big, strong kid. He just doesn't have the height that Colliver and Dozier have.
And if you're going to play against some athletic guys as Isaac McCoy from Alma, you're going to have some real big issues. But I think this year is going to be a good, strong year. Coach Stoller is excited about this team, is excited about some of the things that he's able to do. He's got some guys who've played some minutes, Mikey Andresen. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see who Coach starts on every night of the week, because I think that there may be multiple different strategies of what he wants to do.
Friday night I went and watched him play at the Blue Gold game, and was impressed then. And then Monday morning just happened. I was back at the gym and happened to see that next practice, and Coach Stoller and Coach Bryant were kind of playing around with some different combinations, and he's got 10 kids who he could start on, given which team they're playing that could be effective.
And depending on what they want to do, if you're looking to force the team to bring stretch the defense and open up the middle, a team that's got very strong zone play and can really pack it in on the inside, you're going to look at guys like Blake and Mikey to come out and shoot the three for him and to draw that defense out. And then if you got a team that's going to play man-to-man, you may look at some speed guys and get up and down the floor. So he has a lot of weapons in Coach Stoller. I think Harrison's going to be very, very competitive this year.
John Colliver told me the other night, he said, we're going to win conference.
Wow.
So he's confident, and I don't see any reason not to be confident in him as well. Yeah. But it is 5A West, and like we were talking about with the girls, it's wide open. And you never know what's going to happen. It's like last year at the end of the season, the Goblins, if they had won 3 other games, they would have went from 4th place in the 5A West to 1st place. And it's that wide open.
And with the addition of Huntsville, which I think adds another development, Huntsville and Harrison has always battled well on the basketball court. Last year, Huntsville beat them one night by 30. Then they got it. Harrison come back and beat them. And I think it'll be exciting. I think you got to look at Alma and Isaac McCoy. The pure athlete that he is going to make this extremely exciting.
Definitely one of the top athletes in the 5A West, if not the entire state.
Correct.
I mean, he can do it all, and he makes Alma a threat just by himself.
Right. And then we mentioned Huntsville. They bring back the Trumbo boy who can shoot it. They pick up the Frick boys who were at Jasper. They have gone back to Huntsville to play, which is just going to make them even more powerful of a line.
Neither one of the Frick boys will probably start, but
Right.
it will give them some depth and give them some more shooting depth. As if Huntsville needed any more shooters. But
they show up with 25 kids, and I think guy number 25 on the bench can shoot the three as well as the guy who's on number 1. I think they have a contest to see who can hit the most at 25, and if you hit 20, you might play. If you hit 18, you're at the end of the bench. I'm sorry,
somebody told me once that half of all of Huntsville's practices were just shooting the three.
Yeah.
And you can tell.
Yeah, and they do that well, and they shoot very well. Huntsville is going to make its way here quite a bit. They're involved in the Lindell Thomas as well as in a conference play. So Huntsville is not only going to be here for 3 days during the week of Christmas to New Year's, then they'll make their conference trip when Harrison plays them, and we'll go over there and play, and that ought to be very, very exciting. As we mentioned, Alma, Greenwood, and Valonia will be strong as well. Siloam Springs, it's an up and down battle. Harrison's got to come out to play every night of the week.
And you got Greenbrier
right,
with Neil Burcham. And
And I didn't even mention that. I forgot about Greenbrier as you brought them up. Yeah, Neil Burcham can shoot it as well. It's an amazing kid and athlete.
If you have to pick a weak team in the 5A West, for basketball, you have to say it's probably Morrilton. And even then, Morrilton and Harrison split last year. Yeah. And Harrison was not a slouch last year. Right. They went to the state tournament and played eventual 5A West champion Little Rock McClellan closer than anyone else in the state tournament. So that just tells you a lot about the 5A right there.
Right. It'll be similar to football. You better show up to play every night. They open conference play in Harrison on January, I want to say 3rd, but it's not. That's the Harrison Mountain home game, and then you're going to play the following week as conference play is going to start out at the Spook House.
Well, and even before that, Harrison's going to have some tough conference game or non-conference games with starting out with Rogers Heritage on the 23rd, who is a 7A school. Then
Correct.
we got Bentonville, we got Branson, we got the Forsyth tournament. So and Mountain Home also.
Yeah, Mountain Home.
And even if Mountain Home doesn't win any conference games like they did last year, they're still going to be they're still going to be a threat to Harrison. They beat Harrison last year and then went on not to win any of their conference games. So
we talked a little bit. It's funny you bring up Mountain Home. I talked a little bit with Scott McDonald and the boys Neil over there at the Baxter Bulletin. I saw them at Flippin' last week. And now Mountain Home, I don't want any phone calls talking to them, trying to slam them or do anything differently. You play in a very, very tough conference. You've lost 29 in a row conference games. Now, that being said, you play in the toughest conference that's out there, okay, in basketball, in the boys' wrestling. That is we talk about 3A here or whatever we want to talk about. Top to bottom, you're in the toughest conference in all of basketball in the state, team by team. You're going to have to do that. Now, as you mentioned, they're going to make the playoffs. Now, we're going to play Mountain Home, and that's going to be a tough game. And, the Mountain Home Bombers, they schedule games to be ready, just like everybody else does, to compete in their conference. Let's hope Mountain Home can break the streak of the non-conference wins.
Yeah.
It'd be nice just to have a win.
Conference wins.
Yeah, conferences, not a non-conference.
We don't want them to win in non-conference. We want to win that one. But
we want to do that. So let's try to go out on a limb here. Let's say, who do you think wins? You're going to go with.
I'm gonna go with Colliver for the moment.
Are you?
But it's the 5A West. Anything can happen. But I want Harrison to win, and I think that Coach Stoller has been working toward this season. And I think he deserves it.
Right.
He's been working hard. He's taken some flack over the last couple of seasons. And I think that, all his efforts are going to pay out this season.
I agree with you. I think Harrison's will definitely be in the state playoffs. I think they will be playing. I think that there's nothing more than we'd love to do is to have a conference banner saying we won the 5A West and got a number 1 seed and truly make a run in the state playoffs. Yeah. We've talked about this in years past, you and I. This is our 3rd year doing these prediction shows. We understand, and if you think that the best team wins the state year after year, you need to re-examine what happens. It's not always the best team that makes it. It's not always the best team that makes it, that wins the state tournament. It's the team that has a break, wins when they play badly. I mean, we can go back to 2 years ago when Valley Springs played Charleston in the state quarterfinals to get to the semis. They were playing Charleston. They couldn't hit they couldn't make a shot, Valley, but neither could Charleston. Yeah. They played bad. They played tough defense, got out to the lead, were able to control the game, and win when you're not expected to win, and have the team chemistry.
Well, and then even that year, Valley goes on to beat Mountain View, who they already been beat by four times,
and they played them the fifth time.
So
that set up perfectly for them, because Mountain View, we were there at that game against Charleston, and you saw the Mountain View coaches' faces just go, how do you go tell my team you got to beat somebody 5 times? Mm-hmm. And I mean, every time the game has gotten closer that year, and
it
Valley
got closer, and the scoring got lower,
and it played more into Valley's way, and that's exactly how that game, and that put Valley into the finals. Unfortunately, they lost to Arkansas Baptist that year, but like we say, not always the best team gets there. Yeah. The team that gets a break, you get seedings, because a year ago Valley was as good as any team that was in the finals, and they just got a bad draw having to play Earl. And that's part of what we're trying to talk about.
Well, you look back at Harrison's state tournament game last year. And if anyone watching that McClellan game would have said Harrison's the better team, McClellan got the breaks at the end. And McClellan, won their conference and went on to win the state championship and even beat Alma by 20 in the process.
And if Harrison had played anybody else that day, they would have advanced into this next round.
If not even that, if a few things had gone a little different, if Culliver hadn't fouled out, if Harrison had hit a couple more shots in the third quarter, I mean, it would have went totally different. And it's just, it's basketball. It's high school basketball, and that's why we like it so much around here, is because it is exciting.
It is exciting.
And you never know what's going to happen.
All right. Well, this is going to wrap up part 1 of a 2-part show that we're going to do for our prediction show. When we come back, our next episode, we're going to do the 3A and the 1A classifications around here. Until next time, I'm your host, Lauren Tepper, and this has been my dear friend and also prediction mate, Brandon Cohn.